thus formed the first layer, retire toward the center of the papilla, and as they do so, produce successive layers of dentin from the peripheral extremities. That is to say, they form the dental matrix in which calcification subsequently takes place. As they thus recede from the periphery of the papilla, they leave behind them filamentous processes of cell protoplasm, provided with finer side processes. These are surrounded by calcified material, and thus form the dental caniculi, and by their side branches and anastomosing caniculi, the processes of protoplasm contained within them constitute the dental fibers, Tome's fibers. In this way the entire thickness of the dentin is developed, each caniculus being completed throughout its whole length by a single odontoblast. The central part of the papilla does not undergo calcification, but persists as the pulp of the tooth. In this process of formation of dentin, it has been shown that an uncalcified matrix is first developed, and that in this matrix islets of calcifications appear, which subsequently blend together to form a cap to each cusp. In like manner successive layers are produced, which ultimately become blended with each other. In certain places this blending is not complete. Portions of matrix remain uncalcified between the successive layers. This gives rise to little spaces, which are the interglobular spaces alluded to above. Formation of the cement. The root of the tooth begins to be formed shortly before the crown emerges through the gum, but is not completed until some time afterward. It is produced by a downgrowth of the epithelium of the dental germ, which extends almost as far as the situation of the apex of the future root, and determines the form of this portion of the tooth. This fold of epithelium is known as the epithelial sheath, and on its papillary surface odontoblasts appear, which in turn form dentin, so that the dentin formation is identical in the crown and root of the tooth. After the dentin of the root has been developed, the vascular tissues of the dental sac begin to break through the epithelial sheath and spread over the surface of the root as a layer of bone-forming material. In this osteoblasts make their appearance, and the process of ossification goes on in identically the same manner as in the ordinary intramembranous ossification of bone. In this way the cement is formed. It consists of ordinary bone containing caniculi and lacunae. Formation of the alveoli. About the 14th week of embryonic life the dental lamina becomes enclosed in a strogal groove of mesodermal tissue, which is at first common to all the dental germs, but subsequently becomes divided by bony septa into loculi, each loculus containing a special dental germ of a deciduous tooth and its corresponding permanent tooth. After birth each cavity becomes subdivided so as to form separate loculi, the future alveoli, for the deciduous tooth and its corresponding permanent tooth. Although at one time the whole of the growing tooth is contained in the cavity of the alveolus, the latter never completely encloses it, since there is always an aperture over the top of the crown filled by soft tissue, by which the dental sac is connected with the surface of the gum, and which the permanent teeth is called the gubernaculum dentis. Development of the permanent teeth. The permanent teeth as regards their development may be divided into two sets. First, those which replace the deciduous teeth, and which, like them, are 10 in number in each jaw. These are the successional permanent teeth. And second, those which have no deciduous predecessors, but are superadded distal to the temporary dental series. These are 3 in number on either side of each jaw, and are termed superadded permanent teeth. They are the 3 molars of the permanent set, the molars of the deciduous set being replaced by the premolars of the permanent set. The development of the successional permanent teeth, the 10 anterior ones in either jaw, has already been indicated. During their development the permanent teeth, enclosed in their sacs, come to be placed on the lingual side of the deciduous teeth, and more distant from the margin of the future gum, and, as already stated, are separated from them by bony partitions. As the crown of the permanent tooth grows, absorption of these bony partitions and of the root of the deciduous tooth takes place, through an agency of osteoclasts, which appear at this time, and finally nothing but the crown of the deciduous tooth remains. This is shed or removed, and the permanent tooth takes its place. The superadded permanent teeth are developed in the manner already described, by extensions backward of the posterior part of the dental lamina in each jaw. Eruption of the teeth. When the calcification of the different tissues of each tooth is sufficiently advanced to enable it to bear the pressure to which it will be afterwards subjected, eruption takes place, the tooth making its way through the gum. The gum is absorbed by the pressure of the crown of the tooth against it, which is itself pressed up by the increasing size of the root. At the same time the septa between the dental sacs ossify and constitute the alveoli. These firmly embrace the necks of the teeth and afford them a solid basis of support. The eruption of the deciduous teeth commences about the 7th month after birth, and is completed about the end of the 2nd year, the teeth of the lower jaw preceding those of the upper. The following, according to C.S. Tomes, are the most usual times of eruption: lower central incisors, 6 to 9 months; upper incisors, 8 to 10 months; lower lateral incisors and first molars, 15 to 21 months; canines, 16 to 20 months; second molars, 20 to 24 months. There are, however, considerable variations in these times. Thus, according to Holt, at the age of 1 year a child should have 6 teeth. At the age of 2½ years a child should have 12 teeth. At the age of 2 years a child should have 16 teeth. At the age of 2½ years a child should have 20 teeth. Calcification of the permanent teeth proceeds in the following order: in the lower jaw. In the upper jaw it takes place a little later. The first molar, soon after birth; the central and lateral incisors and the canine about 6 months after birth; the premolars at the 2nd year, or a little later; the second molar about the end of the 2nd year; the third molar about the 12th year. The eruption of the permanent teeth takes place at the following periods, the teeth of the lower jaw preceding those of the upper with short intervals: first molars, 6th year; 2 central incisors, 7th year; 2 lateral incisors, 8th year; first premolars, 9th year; second premolars, 10th year; canines, 11th to 12th year; second molars, 12th to 13th year; third molars, 17th to 25th year. Toward the 6th year, before the shedding of the deciduous teeth begins, there are 24 teeth in each jaw, the 10 deciduous teeth and the crowns of all permanent teeth, except the third molars. End of Section 10. Recording by Ellie, February 2010.